Okay, let's get started. So right now I'm going to start with JavaScript. This is just my New Year resolution that I need to learn a couple of technologies and JavaScript is one of them. Now let's get started. What is JavaScript? JavaScript is, if you go by the Wikipedia definition, that's a long one. You can Google it. You can understand bits and parts of it, but not completely. So I'm going to simplify this, and I'll try to keep this video as short as possible. Now, what is JavaScript? JavaScript is basically a scripting language for browser. Now, whenever you Google something on the net and you get some pages. Now, in this, if you have in the page that gets displayed, it is a beautiful looking page. Now, what are all the components that goes into making this web page look beautiful are three things. The first is the raw content, which is HTML. HTML. So HTML is something that makes the skeleton of the web page. Like if a web page has couple of text fields, a image, some paragraphs, so all those content which is there, the raw content of the page, that is defined by HTML. To make this raw content look beautiful, we add CSS to it. CSS is like a makeup kit for HTML. So once CSS is combined with
Prajwal, innovative something.
sorry for that. That was just my personal Alice scheduling my stuff and reminding me to do things. Okay, where were we? So a beautiful looking web page has three components. The first is the raw content, that is the HTML. This has the skeleton of the web page. If a web page has certain fields, text content, and images that are displayed on it, so that is something that comes from the HTML. Sorry. The second thing is the CSS. Now, CSS, what happens with CSS is it beautifies this HTML content. You don't want to see a web page which is just full of text and it's only in black and white. White is the background and black is the text which is there, and the maximum that you can do using this is change the font of the text. Like you can make it bold and all those stuff, so it doesn't make it look beautiful. Now what really makes it beautiful is CSS is like a makeup kit for HTML. So once CSS is combined with HTML, you have a beautiful looking web page. Now where does JavaScript come into picture? Now when you have HTML and CSS, you're actually establishing a separation of concern. The content is handled by HTML and the presentation part is handled by HTML, the CSS. Now what if there's a requirement to tweak these two according to the user interaction on the web page? Now to do this thing, you have to introduce one more scripting language, and no guesses for answering. It is JavaScript. JavaScript, what it does is it introduces certain types of validations and also some user interaction, dynamic user interaction changes that happens on the web page. So those things are designed in JavaScript. It can tweak some features of CSS, it can tweak some features of HTML, and once a yeah, that is in simple what JavaScript does. Now what happens when you enter some URL on the browser and hit enter? Now what the browser does is the first step that it does is it takes the HTML and indexes it. Now once the HTML is indexed, then it will look for CSS files. If there are certain CSS files, it will apply those properties to the HTML. Now the HTML and CSS has combined and you have a beautiful looking page, and after these two steps then it goes ahead and gets the JavaScript. It runs the JavaScript, it applies all the validations on these on the web page, and it keeps the JavaScript running in the background, so that if there are certain triggers, certain interactions by the user, which triggers certain functions in the JavaScript, those can be run. So this is in a nutshell what JavaScript is used for. And one more thing, no, this is something that I'm going to discuss in the next video probably. So this is it. All done. Bye bye.